All right, welcome everybody. We are doing a listing workshop today, and within 1 hour, we are going to go from start to finish of valuing a property, and then doing the listing package for that property, and then hypothetically getting the listing and putting the listing in all within an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most is what we'll take care of. Okay. We are going to have a case study of a previous listing, which was go ahead and give me that address.
It's gonna be 8350 Belgard, Belgard code
Belgrade.
78253.
Okay. So what I would do is if I was given this opportunity, let's say just today as an agent, the first thing I would do is I was look it up on Bear County. So BCAT is the first website you want to go to. This is important because you want to see what the county has reported on the property. And so that's the very first thing I do anytime I get a listing. Sometimes even when you're speaking to somebody, maybe it's a lead online, and they have a unique last name, like one that would like not Gomez or Rodriguez or something like that. There's gonna be a million of those, but you can type their name into Bear County and pop up their property. Usually only works if they have a fairly unique name. So sometimes when I'm talking to a person on the phone and I see their last name, I'm like, and I'll go to Bear County real quick and I'll type it in and see if I can pull up their listing so I can find out where they live before I even have to ask the question. Okay, but because you've already given me the address, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here on Bear County. That was 8350 Belgard, 8350 Belgard. Okay, so we want to see what we're going to pull is three different opinions of value. The first opinion is what the county thinks. So this should be the most conservative opinion. The reason the county information should be the most conservative is because these homeowners typically contest their taxes. 1 out of 10 homeowners usually contest their taxes. And that means one person has the time on their hands to go down there and say, no, my property is worth less than this so they can get taxed less. So typically in most markets, the county value is about 15 to 20% lower from retail value. Now, the thing you have to remember right now, we're in a declining market. Okay, so values are coming down. So that's not necessarily true right now. Right now, these county values can be too high. Like you'll go to county and be like, man, it's not worth that. So that's another conversation I have with your homeowner and say, hey, if you still own this property next year, beginning next year, you need to contest these taxes because they're charging you way too much. Okay. So we look it up on Bear County, and Bear County has it valued at $331,000. My gosh, they jumped up from $297,000 in 2022 to value it at $331,000. That's almost $35,000 that they decided to tax them on. So that's a huge jump. So I can kind of tell in this particular case, Bear County may be a little high or maybe right on point. Okay. And so she probably could, let's say she holds on to this property, this family, she probably could save some money next year by contesting her taxes. Okay. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna print this out. I'm gonna hit Command P. What I like to do is I'll just save it as a PDF and save it to my desktop so I have it ready to go. Remember, we're going to start a loop here with three different opinions of value. When you go to a listing appointment, this is important to have three different opinions of value. And typically most homeowners will have their Bear County information because they save that, when they get it around March or April. So they may already have this info, but a lot of people don't, or they throw it away or something like that. So this is a useful piece of information to put in your listing package. Okay. So we're going to call that BCAT and save that to desktop. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. So we're on the value of 331,000. That is our first one that we're going to be using. Okay, gotcha.
Right. And I know you said you had it previously listed at 330, right?
So they had it previously listed with another agent back in 2022, and they had it at 335. And I believe they went down at 330. If I remember, last posted price was 330,000 when they took it down off the MLS. So that's kind of when we relisted it. We listed they're at 330.
So typically, if I show up at Bear County and it's listed at the same price that Bear County has it valued, usually that's a deal. Like usually, man, that's usually sold. And that's another great indicator and a great example of how we're in a declining market. So it's more challenging to sell your home these days. Beautiful photos, priced well, still not sold. Okay. That's a symptom of the declining market that we're in. Okay. So the second website you go to is RPR. This is something that you pay for with your membership with Sabor. Definitely use this. A beautiful report. It'll give you some great reading material and a great package to put into your listing package. And so you see it pulls up the information here. They have it valued at 330 as well. So that's usually a bit of an anomaly. Typically, this is about 10 to 15% higher than what Bear County or what the county has it listed at. And so I like to do a property report. It's 28 pages. And it's beautiful reading material for them. It goes historical information, demographic information, community information, all that great stuff. Okay, so we're going to run that report and put that in our loop. We already have our county report. And so now we're going to go ahead and start our loop before we do our CMA. So we're going to sign in. You all will have a .loop account if you don't have one already. This is a benefit of working with our organizations. You get a free .loop account. This is a fantastic system. I've been using it for the past 8 years. It is, in my opinion, the best one out there. Okay, so we titled it the property address 8350. Looks like we already have it in there. And it will pre-populate some info if you do see it in there, because this is a San Antonio. We're going to do an SA listing package. Okay, so it has a lot of the documents already pre-filled out for you, so you don't have to sit there and fill out a bunch of extra stuff. Okay, so it's going to push in a lot of the documents that we already need. We may still need to go out there and pull in a couple of more. We'll go through that when we get the chance. Okay, so we've got our loop created. We're going to take a look at this loop. We've got 2 reports already that we can put in there. It's a listing for sale. We're in pre-listing status, so always update that first. So these are all the documents that you need typically on a listing. We're going to add a folder. We're going to title that folder values. Okay. Okay. And then we'll take a look here. Ding dong. So our report has already been created here. And so we have 2 reports. I'll briefly show you this one and we'll scroll down and take a look at it. It's very professional to go out here with an RPR report because this is great data and it takes you 15 minutes, not even. It takes you 5 minutes to pull this info up. And the client, I can't tell you how many times I've had clients say, wow, you did so much work for me. And I'm like, yes, I did. I stayed up all night putting this report together. Blood, sweat, and tears went into this report. Really, it took 5 minutes. Okay. And it has some really cool, really interesting information. Falcon Landing, I know well, that's a new home community. They're still building new houses out there. So these are even more important because it kind of gives them, information that will help bring them to reality. You can't compare a new home to a pre-owned home, even if that pre-owned home has only been lived in for 3 months, 1 month, 1 day. It's not new anymore. It's pre-owned.
Like
you got a couple car sales, yeah.
Yeah.
You drive it off a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just went down in value, right? Because now it's not new anymore. Okay. And so we're going to download this report, property report. Okay, so we have 2 opinions of value so far. We have Barrett County, which has valued the property at $330K. We have RPR, which has also valued the property at $330K. So that's pretty clear right now that the property's probably worth around $330K. So when we do our CMA, we can see if that is the case. And that's probably what's going to happen. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and download these first 2 reports to my loop. I'm going to download the property report and the Bear County report. Oh. Shit. There we go. So those 2 will upload. It's important to do these on your own. I know a lot of teams, a lot of companies, they kind of want to take this part over for you, but this is where you really become the professional, the trusted advocate, the trusted guy. It's like, okay, guys, we did the research. This is what your home is worth. And you got to be able to stand behind that price. And it's even more important now in this declining market that you really give people good information. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have our 2, we have a Bell County report, we got a property report in there. Let's go over here and do our CMA. All right, so the best way to do this is the kind of gold part. I feel like we do more accurate CMAs here than most people. Okay, so we're going to go classic I'm a classic guy, I don't like to use the new modern stuff, but feel free to use that modern platform, if you will, in your MLS. So we're gonna go here to map search. If you don't have map search, you have to add that field. And what I like to do is I like to bring up this map and I like to highlight the property address. So 8530 Bellegarde Cove. So 8530 Bellegarde Cove. So we're gonna center it on 8530 Bellegarde Cove. And it's still in San Antonio, right?
So you're running your CMA through Dotloop.
I'm putting my CMA in Dotloop. I'm doing my CMA right now in MLS. This is MLS right now. Okay, so let me show you something about this. Is actually a really good property to case study on because it's a new home community. And so you see that this is a new, more than likely phase, like this is where all the newer homes are, and these are where all the older homes are. Okay, so in an effort to be more accurate, we're going to zoom in a little bit and we're going to draw our polygon. I'm going to put this and I'm going to chop it off right here. The reason I'm going to chop it off right there is because I know, based on being out this community many times, number one, so historically, but also just the way that developments are built out, that typically those houses are going to be a different year built, maybe even a different quality, maybe even a different builder, all those other things. So they're not going to be as comparable. So I'm going to try to focus my CMA here. I'm going to use these main roads as my dividing points. I'm going to try to eliminate these other little offshoots that are probably more custom type houses. And so this should be a good area to run my CMA on. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I've got my area figured out. I also want to, so I'll go off of BCAD. I want to make sure that my square footage is accurate. Okay, and so I'll take a look here. The square footage, livable square footage is 2,088. So I'll round up to 2,100 and I'll go 200 up and 200 down. So I'll go from 2,300 to 1,900. So over here on MLS, I'll put a minimum of 1,900 and a maximum of 2,300. That way I know I'm only looking at other houses that are about the same size. Okay. All right. And months back, this is important too, especially in this market. 6 months, we're going to start with, you could even do 3 months. Like, right, let's start with 3 months, but 6 months, 6 months is typically the average. We only want to look at what has sold. We can look at some actives later, and we only can look at what is sold and what is pending. Okay, sold and pending. Okay, so we have our area highlighted. We have the last 3 months of data. We have homes that are within about the same square footage, and we're looking at what has sold and what is pending. So let's take a look at what we find. Only 2, so it's been slow moving market out there. Okay, I need more data than this, so I'm going to go to 6 months. All right, 6 months. This is going to pull everything from the beginning of the year, which is about accurate. We can go up to 24 months back. I prefer to keep it within 6 to 12 months at the most, because our market is fast changing. Okay, so this is a much better list here. We have 284 on the low side, we have 382, and we have 296, 312, 315. So this is about right. As you can tell, the values that RPR gave us and the value that the county gave us are a little inflated. Okay, and the reason that they're inflated is because they're going off of old data. Right. And so we're working more off of new data. And so I want to bring realistic expectations to this conversation. Right. So when I say, hey, you're being taxed on 330, and you know what, the basic tools say your home is worth 330, but let me show you why it's really worth about 300 to 315. Okay, here's a home here, similar built, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This one was actually a brand new home. So that's another challenge. The builder is pricing out of the market. So that's one other thing that we have to do is come over here. This is a field that you'll have to add. It's called construction. Go down to the C's, add construction, and move that over, hit OK. And so we only want to look at pre-owned properties. Okay, make sure you select that, because what happens sometimes is you'll bring new properties into your CMA and that will hurt you. And what's frustrating for a lot of homeowners is there's a brand new home that was similar square footage, brand spanking new, that sold like in the low 300s. So if you're a pre-owned owner, it's like you're trying to sell your home, but now you're not only competing with all the other pre-owned buyers or owners, you're also competing with a builder that's underpricing you now. That happens in new home communities all the time. It's incredibly frustrating. Okay, So this is a better indication of what this home is worth. All right. I'm going to take these three comps. So all you really need is three. Don't want to, 3 to 6 is the max that I like to use here. You've got 3 comps, 2 sold, 1 pending, 1 sold for 284. 1 sold. It was the exact same floor plan for 312. And let's see here. That's the exact same floor plan for that home. This is probably your best comp. Okay. It was listed at 310, sold at 312, and it was on the market a month and a half. That would be your ideal price point for this type property. Okay.
That house is much nicer on the outside.
Is it really?
Well, only because this house has like more siding than brick.
Okay.
So I found another home similar to that,
Okay.
and it was way cheaper than our home, and it's way nicer.
Way nicer. See, that's frustrating. You got to bring those into the conversation with your client, Okay, so we're going to pull this. So we're only going to show selected, and then we're going to do CMA summary here. So it shows really the home is worth 315 on a high side. Wanted to sell it quickly. We need to be probably under 3, at 299.9.
Right.
299.9, that home would sell quickly. And the conversation I have with your client is like, look, I want to help you guys get this thing sold. Like, I'm not the kind of person that wants to come out here and just put a sign in your ground and we'll just hope and pray nothing ever happens. Like, you could sell this home today and probably have multiple offers if we get under 300K,
Right.
299. And then we'll probably sell it a little over because people will be competing and we can actually get a deal. Maybe we'll sell it at 305 or 310, but sitting out there at 330, that's probably not going to get us anything. So you save that as PDF. So that will be our CMA. And this is a pretty good one. I'm pretty happy with this. So I'm going to open this up. And so now I have my 3 opinions of value. There's the county, there's RPR, which both are inflated. And then there's our actual CMA, which shows the real value of the property, which is about 300 to 350. Okay. So we'll title that CMA summary, and we will download that to our loop. All right. So we are moving right along. So the value part of this is done. Okay. So we're going to add those 3 to our value folder here. So we can start with that. This is great too. Once you complete this, you can actually send all this to the client and then show up with a nice folder. We got some great folders for you guys too, with all of this there so they can have the reading material. It's very professional. So we'll add that document, browse. Any questions about the CMA or how we did that, or any questions there? I know we moved kind of quick.
No, I think that was
For the pending one,
Mhm.
since it hasn't sold yet, you can still use it
Yes. And again,
because
it's because we want the most recent data. And so, but you'll explain that, say, hey, it's pending, this one may never even sell, And so we have 2 other comps that have sold within the last 6 months, and that one that's pending. That's an okay amount of comps to use. Once you go into the 5 and 6, it gets a little convoluted, a little too much information. I like to keep it between 3 to 5 and say, hey, these homes are very similar to yours. We had one that's the exact same floor plan, nicer on the outside, a little more upgraded on the inside probably too, but that's a great comparable. That's the same comp that an appraiser is going to use when he goes out to appraise the property. That's the other conversation that you want to have with these folks is like, look, I'm a salesperson. I want to get you as much money for this home as possible. But the truth of the matter is 99% of the buyers in this neighborhood need a loan. And the bank will only loan on what their appraiser thinks that home is worth. And based on the comparable data, any bank is only going to loan up to maybe 300 to 310, maybe 315 at the most. So even if I was able to sell your home at 330, that contract would fall apart. You'd be frustrated. We'd get all excited, and then everything would fall apart because their appraiser would go out there and say, look, 315. And who has an extra 15 grand in their pocket to come and overpay for a home? In that neighborhood, nobody. Okay. Right. So you have that conversation. It's like, man, you're so right. It's like, I need to be realistic. And if they do that, then they're going to have success, especially this guy, because you mentioned that he has some equity in the home. This is his opportunity to really say, okay, maybe I've got 100 grand in equity at 330. If I sell it at 315, I've only got 80, or 85. I'd rather take the 85 now and then try to hold out for the 100 and then have to do it and take 60 or 50 or 40 a year from now, once the market continues to decline. So that's the conversation you have, and they're like, would you rather 85? Like, I know you want 100. I want 100 for you too, by the way. But the market will only pay you 80. Would you rather take the 80 now or wait a year from now and look at 40? Or you say, hey, maybe I'll stay put for 5 years. If that's the case, then do it. You know, I'll be here. Like, I'll be here to help you. Like, I want to help you 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years. I'm going to be here. I'm a phone call away. But what I'm telling you now is you got $80,000 that we can put in your pocket in the next 30 days. If you wait another 6 months, that 80 may turn into 60. If you wait another year, that 60 could turn into 40. Okay. Now you may wait 5 years and you'll get your 100 back, but do you have that kind of time? Can you see yourself living in this home in 5 years? And that's the thing that will get them thinking, like, no way, I can't be here another 5 years. I got all this other stuff I got to do. My kids are moved on or whatever the case may be. Okay. All right. So that is done. So we are moving on now to the listing package. Okay. The main 3 documents you need in every listing package is a listing agreement, a seller's disclosure, and a information about broker services. Okay. To go beyond that, you definitely need, if it has an HOA, you want an HOA addendum in there, or a request for information for HOA. If the home was built before 1978, you need a lead-based paint agreement, or a lead-based paint disclosure. If it's in a floodplain, I mean, the list goes on and on from there of other stuff that you need. But just for the purpose of this conversation, we're going to focus on 3 documents: the listing agreement, the seller's disclosure, and the information on broker services. You need those 3 in every package to get paid. Like, if you don't have those 3, we're in a little bit of hot water. Okay. The HOA addendum would probably be the 4th most important document there, but let's look at the listing agreement first. Okay. So great, if you have their information, you can actually kind of pre-fill in some of this stuff. I'm going to not pre-fill it just so, you know, we can kind of work off of more of a blank contract. You'll see the broker's information is already pre-filled out. Okay. We can upload. What I typically do is I'll pull in the information from my Bexar County report. And so you can do a lot of copy pasting. Tanya, Christopher DeHart. So you just type that in. Christopher and Tanya DeHart. Sometimes you arrive at the listing appointment and they're like, that's not me, you know, it's because maybe the mom bought it, or maybe it's owned by an uncle or something like that. So, but you always want to start with the county information because that's the most accurate. That's who the government has as the owner of the property. So you can do some copy pasting here, save yourself a little bit of time. Let's see here. And you don't have to worry about the brokerage information, but you do want to add your information there. Okay. Okay. In there. So this is where you would add their phone number, their email. I'll leave that blank for now so you can add it at some point. So AE Realty is the broker. You want to add your email there. You can also add your cell phone here as well. And what I like to do too is I'll go ahead and put a little dash there and I'll put the name of the agent, Carly, like that. Okay. All right. And so lot, block, and legal description. So that's important to put in there. A lot of people leave that blank. Don't do that. So we're at lot 25, block 29, lot 25.
Is your turn to me?
Park.
Are you talking to me?
Somebody left open front in the car.
Well,
Is the white car open?
I really hit it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I like to put the full legal description in the blank after that. So I come over here, I've got the lot and the block number in there, and I'll paste that part right in there. The addition is Falcon Landing. Okay, so be as accurate as you can on these things. I mean, a lot of people skip through this stuff. It's not that important, blah, blah, blah. I think it is personally. And the reason I, trust me, I'm not a details guy. I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't care less about the details, but when it comes to contracts, if you want things to be valid and you want to appear as a better professional, it's better to have these things completely filled out and accurate. Listing price, I typically leave that blank because when I go out there with them, we can negotiate that. So if you were to go out there and visit with them again, which I would recommend that you do, I would say, hey guys, we did the CMA with my new broker. Really we're at like 300, 315. Here's the data, here's the equitable situation. Here's the reality of the market. I would love to list it at 330. I'll continue to fight that fight for you guys, but we kind of know where that's headed. Why don't we list it at 315? Okay. And at 315, let's keep it there and let's talk in 2 weeks and make sure, let's look at how many showings we've got, let's see if we have any offers, and then we can decide what you want to do from there. Okay.
Yeah. And
so then we can write that in an initial line next to it. Okay. Typically I want to run these for 1 year. Some people will give you a little pushback here and say, hey, why don't we do it for a whole year? So this is a standard company practice. And so we'll run it for a full year. Compensation 6%. That is the going rate. 3% goes to the buyer, 3% goes to me for listing your property. Typically, most people won't push back there. Sometimes say, oh, I thought you were gonna give me a discount because we were buddies, Okay, fine. You can have that discussion there and make that adjustment as well. All right. Protection period, 120 days is typical there. That's also negotiable and pushback point for some people. Bexar County, a protection period is, hey, if this agreement or if I stop working for you, but a buyer that I brought or I found or I was able to recover and they come back and you end up selling your home, we can still operate under this agreement. Fair enough? Okay, understand. Up to 120 days. Filing, we will file with the multiple listing service. Okay. You may have some people that say, I don't want it out there. Maybe they have tenants or something like that, but that's really the only way to sell these properties. You can mark here some different conditions if they want some conditions about that. Sometimes people with tenants, sometimes younger kids, they'll be a little hesitant about having their stuff out there as much, but hey, we're trying to sell the home. So selling the home is getting it out there for as many people to see. So that includes going onto the MLS and all the websites. Showing time is our showing service. So you just type showing time there. Showing time. We are going to be authorized to put a key box on the property. That's important. 3% goes to MLS participants. I don't pay sub agents and don't recommend you do either. People will come in and try to take up all your commission that way. It can always be negotiated if there is a sub agent that comes in on the deal, but typically I like to take that out of the buyer's commission, not ours. Okay. Keep more money for yourself. So 300 there. Intermediary status, what that means is that the other agents in my brokerage can sell your property as well. And we can, or if somebody comes along unrepresented, my brokerage can also help represent them. That's typically what that means and the easiest way to explain it. These are the different ways that we're going to sell your property: conventional, VA, FHA, cash. You can explain those a little bit more if you'd like. And of course, we get a lot more training on those different lending. We talked a little bit about T-Shack this morning, but the more you become knowledgeable with the lending programs, the better agent they will be. Okay. All right. We're going to do information on broker services. We're going to do a seller's disclosure notice, and we're also going to do a request for information from the Owners Association, because I know they have one out there. These are all other documents that could be needed. So you can take a look at that in the event that you have a property that falls in one of those events. Okay, so this is one thing that I need to update here. You do not put my name here. You put AE Realty, and our license number is 93824. I am the designated broker for AE Realty, but AE Realty is your broker. Okay, so we have two different licenses. We have a corporate license, which is 93824. That goes on all your contracts. It goes on everything. And then, of course, if you ever need to put my information, it's 557393, which is my broker's license number. Okay. And you are the associate, so you could sign there. And so in this case, we'll put Carly. And bam. All right. And we are done with our listing agreement. Okay. So let's save that. And you can actually print these out, get the hard copy signed. I like to do that. A little old school, It seems like when you said, hey, click on it in the email, you kind of give people an out, That's the one thing I like to leave the listing appointment with, is a signed listing agreement, hard copy signed. A lot of people want to send it ahead of time and get it signed before we even show up. Great if you want to do that. You have a great platform for that. Okay. Seller's disclosure, we'll just briefly go over that. That client needs to fill out the seller's disclosure. So I'll always print this out and leave it to the client. Say, hey, this is going to take about 15-20 minutes. Take your time. If you have questions on anything, call me. But all that needs to be completed by you. They can also do it. We can do the fill in here, so they can do it all online. And so it just kind of depends on their tech savviness. Sometimes this can be a little too much for especially older folks, to get in there. It's hard to see and all the boxes and all sorts of time. So it's better to leave a hard copy that they can fill in personally. So sales disclosure has to be completed by them. Some people say, oh, just do it for me. We cannot do it for you. This is your disclosure. It has to be completed by you. Okay. Sometimes even say, okay, we'll just do it together, and say, okay, well, I can be here and answer questions for you, but you're the one that has to check the boxes and do these things. Okay. Or your representative, you can have your attorney do it as well, but we are not allowed to fill that out for folks. Okay. And then the information about broker services, this needs to be in every loop here. And so we'll find that. And here's our information, request for information from the Builders Association. So if you ever need these documents, you can find them under templates. We have several different folders, essay purchase package for our Houston listings as well. And then of course, AE Realty, and then you have the interactive forms as well. So AE Realty will have a lot of our like rental stuff and things like that. W9, if you ever need somebody to share a W9, the checklist, different kind of important info, documents and stuff like that. Spend some time and go through these and take a little time to learn a little more about them. And you'll be better for the time spent. So we're going to add this listing information about broker services. The IBS is basically just disclosure. That is a TREC requirement that we have an information about broker services in every single file. That's why a lot of people keep it in their email signature as well. We have it connected to our website. You'll notice it's connected to my email signature as well. So you can always use mine, just copy paste it, easiest way to do it. But it's going to have our information in there. I'm going to autofill this in with the basic stuff. So it has our license info, corporate, my personal info. I am a designated broker at the front, and I am your designated supervisor. And then we'll put your information in here. Sanchez, and your license number is
801-832.
Okay, and your email.
I'm sorry, it's a new one that I'm trying to think of. Holy crap. I got it, I promise. It's on the tip of my brain.
That's all right.
Okay, it's real estate at CA
Real estate at
cagoldgrounds.com.
That is a cool email. cagoldgrounds.com. Okay, and your phone number.
210-983-4219.
421. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to save everything we've done so far. I'm going to create another folder here so I can kind of separate them from all the other addendums. In dot loop, you can never actually delete anything. You can only archive. So what I'll do here is I will put listing docs. Okay, and this is where I'll put all my signed stuff and all my more documents. So I'll put our information on services in there. I'll put our listing agreement in there. I'll put our seller's disclosure in there. And I'm also going to go ahead and put the request for owners association, because I know you'll have to gather that info. If you already have it, you want to pre-fill that. Just a one-page document giving us permission to pull the HOA information. Okay. And then of course, we have so listing information, broker services, seller's disclosure, and the question. So these are your primary listing docs that you need filled out. Okay, so we are done now with the basic listing stuff. Matter of fact, you could print now at this point, and you can even print that form without the information. And they may have it, they probably have their HOA package, so you can fill this in there, or they can do it online. So you could click that box and click that box, and we'll just go ahead and hit print. And all these documents will print out. Would you like me to do that so you have that to take to?
Sure, yes.
Okay,
please.
I'm gonna go and print this out for you then. And then we are ready now to move into putting the listing in. So this is a little more the time consuming part. We were able to get through the first portion in about 30 minutes. So that's pretty quick. The putting in of the listing can be up to an hour, but I'll give you a couple secrets that'll help you do it faster, okay? One of the advantages, if it's already been listed before, that can be a secret. So you always want to check. Sometimes not even by you, maybe it was listed by a previous agent, or maybe they sold it 5 years ago and that listing's still up there or in the cancel. Print that out so you can have a little cheat sheet, and that'll help you get through it a little faster, okay? All right, let me print this out for you. Move it a nice folder so you can take it out there as well. And let's move on to putting the listing in. Okay, so that is printing. All right, so now we completed our values report. We completed our listing folder. We went out to the property. We won them over with our personality and our professionalism. We showed up early. We wore a jacket. You know, we gave them this valuable information, and they've agreed to list the property with us. Okay, so we've won so far. Now we need to come in and put the listing in. All right, so we're getting through this process pretty quickly and pretty well. All right, so you want to go to your MLS dashboard. All right, and we're going to input listing. And so I'm going to do this so I can assign to any and I can edit any, but I would prefer, so I'm going to do this within yours. So I can always go into your MLS if I need to and kind of make changes and stuff. So let me go ahead and add this new listing. I'm just going to assign it to, see if I can do that to this next portion. I think we need to do this through yours. Do you know what your, did you visit the MLS yesterday? Are you active with us yet?
Yeah, I should.
So I'm gonna put this in as yours. So I'm gonna log in as your
Okay.
MLS. Okay, so let me log out and put that in mine. And I'm gonna, yours, okay. What is your license number? What's like, sorry?
801-832.
832. And what is your, if you want to type in your password here, that will allow me to log into your MLS so we can put this thing in there as yours. Okay. Okay, we are in your MLS. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, I'm on the main page here. I'm going to type add new listing. Right, add new listing. Okay, so I'm going to teach the best way to do this. There's a couple of tricks here. The first thing you want to do is you want to be able to find it on the county. So class is going to be single residential. This is a general listing. We would prefer auto-populate from tax data. So whenever dealing with the tax information, less is always better. So sometimes I'll just type in the number and then the first letter of, or the first couple letters like of the street address. Okay, and typically we'll find it. A lot of people type out the whole thing, and my gosh, you can't even find it, you know, because maybe they spelled a little differently, or maybe it's a cove instead of a road or instead of a street. So less is always better when dealing with county information. You can see it pulled it right up. Okay, so I'm gonna click on that and hit next. So first victory. Sometimes you can't find it on the data because maybe they have security clearance, or maybe they're a police officer or a judge or FBI agent, and they're not on Bexar County because they're protecting their information. Then you got to manually do everything. It's a little more difficult. Okay, so areas. So we have an area map. We know the location of this property. It is out on, okay, so here's 1604. You want to familiarize yourself with this map, it's such a pain in the butt, but we know this particular property is in 0104 because it's just on the outside of this very tip area. Just like right there is where it is, so very corner. And so we know which one it is just because we're familiar with the neighborhood. But if I didn't know where it was, I would compare this to a Google map and I would say, okay, where is it at on Google Maps and what section is it going to? Okay, so 0104 is your area there. Don't worry about Maps Go Grid, nobody uses it anymore. That's something that we did back in the 80s. I left it in there. List price is important. Now we're going to save this as a draft. So if you go out there and she says, you know what, you're right, Carly, we're not going to let this thing sit here anymore. Let's do 315. We'll go back in here and we can modify that, okay?
Okay.
For the time being, I'm gonna put it in there at 3:30, which is what you had it at, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 3:30, the rest of the information that pops up, are we taxed by multiple counties? No, typically we're not. This one's right in the corner of Bear County. Sometimes you can be in multiple counties. That's something that you'll want to ask them.
Okay.
And that's always a pain in the butt if you have multiple counties, but you rarely see it. I'd say 1 out of 300 times you'll see that. Okay, so save and continue. And so we have our list price in there. We have our basic information. It's trying to push out another address there. So we'll make sure we have the correct one. It's in 7253. Save and continue. And we are off to the races. Okay, so now we have our listing to fill out. We're gonna start off with basic info. Type, it's single family detached. Okay, it is, so pulled in some of the lot description, legal stuff, because we're able to find it. Common name is Falcon Landing. Now, of course, you can always have your Bear County information open to make sure you're putting the information in there correctly. So subdivision common name, over here, I can see common, so it's Falcon Landing, UT-7. You don't need to put in the UT-7 neighborhood Falcon Landing, keep it simple. So it is in Falcon Landing. It always allows you to look it up too, which can give you a little bit more accurate information. So you can go to the F's and find Falcon Landing. Falcon Landing, there it is, bam, okay. All right. This is always a fun part, what I like to do, this is my personal preference, is when I'm giving directions to the property, I like to make it seem like I'm flying into the San Antonio airport and I'm telling somebody how to get to the property from the airport, okay? There's a lot of different people that do it different ways. I have one guy one time I was reading this and he says, jump in your DeLorean and go back to the future when we didn't have GPS. I'm like, that is so hilarious, because it's true. It's like this is kind of the old school method. Back in the old days when we didn't have GPS, you actually typed out a description of how to get to the place. So I still do that.
Yeah.
I'm a traditional guy, but I cracked me up when that guy said that. It's like, yeah, jump in your DeLorean and go back to the future when we didn't have GPS. Cracked me up. Okay, so what I like to type is from SA airport, take. So from the airport, we could go there 2 different ways. We go 281 to 1604, we would go 410 to 151 to Culebra. Okay, prefer less better. I'll take them 281 north to 1604 all the way to Culebra out. Okay, now you could go to your maps and say what's going to save them a few minutes if you like, so it's up to you. Or you can be like our friend and just kind of make a joke here, Some people they're just put in GPS. That's all they type there, put into your GPS. And so it's up to you on this one. But I like to kind of, honor the old school fashion. So from SA Airport, take 281 north. Takes a little extra minute, but to 1604 west to Culebra Road. Take a right outside, go outside of the loop. Go outside of the loop. Falcon Landing is on the left-hand side. Boom. Okay, so that's all you have to do here. Now you get a little more intricate with this. You can really kind of be more descriptive and things like that, but I like to keep it simple. Okay, home faces. What does the home face? So let's look at quickly up here. I like to plug it into Google Maps and take a look at what direction it faces here. So we'll go here quickly to Google Maps. The most time-consuming part of this is actually the uploading all the pictures. That can be a little time-consuming. The reason I like Google Maps because it already sets you up north, south, east, west, and so we can quickly look at it. And okay, so you can see the home faces west. It faces northwest almost, northwest-ish, more west than north. And so I'll come over here And I will put home faces west because it's more west than north, okay? Recent rehab, no, it's a newer home, didn't need that. Senior community, it is not a senior community. Let's see, elementary schools. Okay, so this is where it helps to have a cheat sheet. So what I'll do is I'll save as a draft. I'll come over here and I'll find the property and I will open a tab with a cheat sheet for myself, okay? So let's see, builder code, okay. Now, because you had it most previously listed, I usually want to see the most recent listing. I'll save this as a PDF and then I will open this up in another tab, okay? So now I can kind of click back and forth and that will help me go through this process faster. If you don't have a previous listing, you kind of have to do the research on your own and it can be more time consuming. But always start there. Sometimes the listing could be 5-10 years old, but it's still have the room dimensions there and all. You know, you'll want to, sometimes you can also do a search in the neighborhood and find like an active listing because maybe the school district changed or maybe there's like different, but you can type in the square footage and find square footage matches in those communities, especially KD home. Every 5 homes is the same floor plan. So you can actually pull the dimensions off if you just go and find a listing that has the exact same square footage. And the thing about the MLS, which you'll learn, this is all approximate information. Like none of this is like information that you have to worry about being super accurate. I'll never forget one time I had a guy, and so I had put in there like a barbecue pit was coming with the property or something like that on MLS, and it wasn't coming with the property. The guy took it with him, you know. And he calls me back after the the transaction was closed. Like, hey man, the barbecue pit's missing. And I'm like, really? Oh, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. But it wasn't built in. It was like, you know, it was kind of in a way that like it looked like it would stay, but it was a movable barbecue pit. And so he says, well, it's in your listing. I've got it printed out. And my client's making a big old issue about it. So what do you say we go ahead and buy him a barbecue pit? And I was like, man, I don't want to do that. Because, you know, they wanted a nice one and, you know, all this other stuff. And so it got to the point where actually he said, look, they're going to make a formal complaint with the board of MLS. And I was like, look, man, I'd rather just buy them the barbecue pit, you know, and just be over and done with it. But it got me curious as to like, man, could I actually get in trouble for this? So I shelled out the money to buy the barbecue pit just because I wanted to be a nice guy. But I started to do research and find out would I have actually had to pay for that if they went through this. And we found out through asking and finding out that all information, there's disclaimers all over this stuff, by the way, is approximation. And if it's in MLS, that doesn't mean it's what it is. And so knowing that, it's okay to overstate a little bit. Puffing is not good. Well, you can't say, oh, you know, it's got a, you know, a swimming pool when there's no swimming pool there. Right. But, you know, if you're on the fence of whether or not, you know, it has a garage door opener or not, because you don't remember, or, you know, the client didn't let you know, and maybe they moved out, or they don't know, or maybe they don't know if it works or not, go ahead and put it on there. You know, because I'd rather have somebody show up and realize that and still fall in love with the rest of the house than not. Okay. Now, for our high C's in the room, that's gonna be kind of a tough thing because it's like, well, I want to be super accurate. It's okay to not be super accurate with this stuff. So that's something to think about. Okay, so I have our listings up here. So elementary is Petrenko, Medina Valley, Medina Valley. Okay, Medina Valley ISD. So I just got the school district in there correctly already. So I just need to find Petrenko Elementary here. So go to the P's and hit next. And there is Petrenko, P-O-T. Oh, next one. Let's put the last one here. Petrenko. Hit OK. Middle school, these are both Medina Valley as well. And let's see, so find them, Medina Valley, okay. Medina Valley, okay. Good schools out there in one country, and they're like, you know, we're technically not allowed to say a school is good or bad. But I always seem to be of the notion that the ones out in the country are a little bit more traditional, a little more family oriented, a little less crime, etc. So typically, you know, if people are wanting to say, hey, which school district would you recommend? I always say the ones out in the country are pretty cool. You know, some of them still spank kids too, which I like. In Medina Valley, you can still get paddled. They don't do it really, but you can still get paddled in Medina Valley. I'm like, this is awesome. Whip those kids. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you guys. Okay, so it is pre-owned. All right. Builder name, it is, what do you know the builder is a KB Home, right?
Carl, I hate to interrupt,
Yep.
but I need to go and engineer.
You're good. You're good. We will have this as a video,
Okay.
so you can catch the rest of it later.
Okay.
It says pre-owned, like, so it says builder unknown. So we'll mark unknown here, but I'm pretty sure
Nice to meet you.
that's a KB Home. Okay, but we'll go ahead and mark it unknown. All right, we'll see you.
Thank you for your
Okay.
time. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Neighborhood amenities. Now, we may go through and say, you know what, this one isn't really well filled out because a lot of stuff is missing. None, I know they have a pool out there at least.
The community?
Yeah,
Yes,
isn't there a community pool?
they're, actually, let me back up. So she's like right in the beginning, but the further I drive in, actually, because I've been all the way to the back, I've never seen a pool.
Really? There's no pool, no
I
playground,
don't,
nothing? I could have swore there was one out there. Okay, here's one thing I'll quickly do. If I start to doubt that this is filled out correctly, I will quickly go to do a search and I will look in the community and try to identify some other listings. Okay, so I'll go over here, I'll again center on the community. 85, 83.
yeah, I'm gonna think about it.
Your page already?
Yeah, there's.
I could have swore there was a pool out there. I could be wrong. I've sold a few houses in Falcon Landing over the years. It's been a while, but even if there's one at the front of the community or back of the community, typically everybody can use that thing. And I'm almost certain that there's a pool right at the front of the community. So let's take a look at the active listings here. Okay, so you can see there's 17 active listings. So let's take a look. Let's start at the top of the market here. Okay, pre-owned home, Falcon Landing, amenities, pool, and a playground. So that shows me that there is a pool and playground, and with pool, clubhouse, playground, jogging trails, airport property, hangar access, taxi access. See, this is the kind of stuff you want to do. So this guy understands something, that you will get more if you state more. Now, does it have, is it an airport property? I don't know. There's a little airport out there somewhere, probably. Okay, but this guy was like, you know what, it's close to an airport, you know, and so this guy kind of knows what he's doing. Look how filled out this listing is. So you want to be more like this guy, you know, because even if you get one of these guys comes like, you know what, this is not, there's no hangar access out there. Like, oh, okay, I'll fix it.
What does that mean? Hangar access?
You have access, like you could park your plane at a hangar close by. Isn't that cool? So I would probably use this guy's honestly, because he's pretty awesome here, you know, and it is a KB home. This is the entire, okay, so there is a different builder, Horizon View homes out there as well. This person just put pool, playground. This person, see, that's another thing too. Let's say there was a client that said, you know what, I have to live in a community that has a swimming pool, and they put neighborhood amenity pool. Your listing would not pop up on that search. So you eliminate yourself from people that have searching for communities with pools. Okay, so that's why it's okay to overstate a little bit, even if you don't know. Like, yeah, I'm not sure. Look in the other properties in the neighborhood. Everybody else has pool and playground here at the very least. Some people even go a step beyond that. So clicking through a couple of these, I'm going to use this guy as my cheat sheet here because I like his style. Okay, so we're gonna download that and use that as our secondary cheat sheet. So already we've identified one mistake that whoever put that listing in for you made. Okay, so when you go out there, you can encourage your client and affirm your client that, hey, you guys made the right decision. When we're putting the new listing in, we notice, you know, some mistakes on this one. Like they didn't put pool, playground. Like there is a pool, there is a playground. Looks like there's also a clubhouse, jogging trails, and all this other stuff too. So we want to make sure that we are doing a service to the client by making that property show up in as many searches as possible. Everybody searches online these days, 99.9%. So if you were eliminating something that would allow a person to show up in a search or to find your property on a search, you are making your property less visible to the community, which is not good.
There was one concern that they had, and that was like when you typed it in on Zillow, the home would show, but it wouldn't show on the map. It was, I guess, like when you go on Zillow, any home that's for sale, they have like a map of where that home is. for some reason, theirs didn't have that map, so it was like, you don't really know where the home is, it didn't show or give the people an idea. And I didn't know what to tell them, and I told them multiple times, they're like, no, it must be a glitch in Zillow, I don't know. They didn't really have an answer, but I don't know if it really is a glitch or.
You know, that, you remember that beginning part where it asked us to like, you know, click on the correct, it gave us two addresses, it's kind of funky. So they probably clicked on the wrong one, which didn't register in our in-map system. And so that's why you gotta be like, when you're initially putting the stuff in, you want to be a little more careful there. Okay. So it looks like we should be I'm having to do this first part over again. I didn't save it. I must have not hit save. I thought I did. But I'll let you type in the directions. That was easy enough to do. That'll be good.
Yeah.
That'll be a good exercise for you to do. Maybe you'll decide to go the DeLorean route as a friend did. That cracked me up so much. Like,
Yeah.
normally when you're reading through a listing, you don't just start busting out laughing. When I saw that, I was like, this guy is cool. So, all right, we'll move a little faster through this now that we have a couple better cheat sheet to go through. Okay, so Medina Valley. And Medina Valley. So all you'll have to do is maybe make a couple of adjustments once you meet with her and make sure that we're good on price. If she wants to stick with 330, great. We will do that. Pre-owned construction, builder name, I'm gonna mark unknown, but that's something I would ask them. If it is a KB home, put KB home there. If it's a New Horizon home, put New Horizon. I can tell just from the look at it, it's gonna be a KB.
Yeah.
But get that confirmation from them. Okay, so neighborhood amenities. So we'll go for cheat sheet here with this guy. So this guy really went above and beyond as far as his neighborhood amenities. So we'll follow suit and pool, clubhouse, let's see, clubhouse, playground, jogging trails, airport property, hangar access. I love that. Taxiway access as well. What the heck? Why not? Okay, so it's not an adaptive home. This is for like handicap, you know, with ramps and stuff like that. Miscellaneous, we more than likely aren't going to have there. Maybe a 10-year warranty on it. Do you know if they got the 10-year?
No, I'm not.
That's a good question when you ask, did they get the 10-year warranty? Okay, because a lot of KB homes, they offer that, and it's almost always transferable. So if they got the 10-year warranty, or if they transfer from the initial time they bought it, that can be very good. No city tax, you know, I'm not sure if the city is taxing them out there. Yeah, let's take a look at this guy and see what he put under miscellaneous. Let's see what you put in here. They left that blank, of course. I didn't miss it. Let's see. Miscellaneous, so he didn't put anything there. I think the city did expand out there, so you do have city tax out there.
What does clubhouse mean before I forget to ask?
Clubhouse is just a little structure where people can have parties and just usually
Okay.
a little room.
Okay,
You know,
gotcha.
sometimes a little kitchen in there where you can have like a party or get together. Or meeting
Okay.
or something like that. Okay, so typically there's some stuff. I know a school bus does run out there. Let me see here. Investor potential. You can put that at times. It does get more eyes on it. And let's see. Closure. So no city tax. I'm a little bit on the fence about the no city tax because it is a USDA property as well. So typically they don't allow USDA on properties that are in the city limits. And it's so freaking far out there. I can't imagine that the city has turned that already. So green features, we don't typically put anything there. KB Home doesn't have those come out standard. You can always put on newer homes. This one's built newer. They're all built now with double pane windows, low flow commodes in most cases, but I won't put that one in initially because I'm not 100% on that. Probably has programmable thermostat. Definitely has double pane windows. You'll want to take a look at the appliances, see if they're Energy Star. KB doesn't build with radiant barriers. Imagine Homes does. Let's see. There's probably some ceiling fans in there. A lot of times too, you can go off the photos when you're filling this part out to get a little more information there. But you can always come back here and edit some of this if you need to. I'm going to save you as like a 90% complete draft. Okay. This is Presidio Titles. We'll take this call. Hello, this is Carl.
Hi, Carl. This is Elizabeth in your title.
Hi, Cynthia. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm calling you on Edward View.
Fantastic.
Here, I am getting ready to send the commitment. But I wanted to give you a heads up. I don't know if you're aware, but there is an HOA lien.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. We've been trying to get a hold of the attorney that they say is handling this, but no response. And then we reached out to the actual employee, if they had anything, like, still can't get a response.
Okay.
So I don't know if Mr. Joel, maybe help in any way, if we're trying to close on Tuesday.
I mean, he's not gonna be able to get a response either, and he's in Midland. So
Did work?
he's in Midland, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, Philip recommended maybe taking double that amount, something like that. But yeah, I mean, who's the attorney? Like, what company is it? I mean, it's a small, it was like $300 or something like that, isn't it?
That's why, that's what we. Have no knowledge of anything. According to the taxer, there's a attorney like Dan Elk. Dan Elk. I must have like yesterday. I knew we got out to Timberwood and said, hey, we can't get a hold of this guy. They tried to get a hold of Lifetime. They might have some information. So can't get a response from them. So Kathy said, hey, maybe client else could maybe help. We're trying to close this
Yeah,
on Tuesday.
I addressed that with him. We were aware of that lien. The previous title company we were working with had gotten a hold of them, and I believe we had, settlements, some sort. It was only like $300. It wasn't a lot.
Oh, okay.
So, but he's not able to help out there. So I'll just keep trying him, I suppose. Would be,
Okay.
would be my recommendation.
Okay. Second thing is there an existing survey?
Let me look for that. I'll have to take a look for that. I think there may be one because he bought it with a VA loan like only 3 years ago. So there's gotta be,
What is that?
he bought it with a VA loan like 3 years ago, so there's gotta be one from that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think it's fairly recent closing within the last 2 years. He, with this closing package, there should be one in there.
Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll take a look. We might have one in the hole. Let me look.
Then we also see that he's divorced. Anytime you want me to ask about it, a copy of his divorce decree.
Yeah, I've got that. What is your we also we have a couple of invoices to pay out of that as well. Just put that on your radar. That are gonna be paid out of the seller's proceeds. I'll get those. Yeah, I'll get those to you. Don't see a survey in here, but I'll send you the divorce decree. Oh, and let me dig a little deeper with the survey. I'm sure you probably have that information. What was your name again? Cynthia. Last name? Garza. And your email.
And I will go better.
Team BREWER. At PRISIDIOTITLE.
Yes.
Presidio PRISIDIOTITLE.com. Okay, divorce decree is on its way to you guys now. I'll find out about the survey. Yeah.
And I'll put up with her, I just didn't want, but it sounds like everybody's on the same page where you guys are yourself out.
Yeah.
So it's-
Yeah, we are. Okay, thank you. Bye.
I'll let you guys know as soon as we get a hold of any kind of information for this.
Thank you. That was frustrating. So in this particular case, that's what we're talking about. The buyer's agent, an old friend of mine, I've known him for years, and he pulled a fast one on me and snuck his title company in there. And so now I had my title company, already had the lien figured out, already had all this stuff done. New title company has to go through all this stuff again. So it's kind of like a pain in the butt, you know.
Wow.
When we're trying to close, it was a 7-day close cash deal. But I got him back. I made him put in a foursome for our charity golf tournament coming up. So I was like, I'll only forgive you if. That's one thing, as a buyer's agent, you can get your title company on there. Most good listing agents will not put up with it. They'll say, look, we're paying for it. We already got the person working on it. Nice try, but no. You know, so it's worth trying. I'm not saying I hate on people for trying, but typically I say nice try, and we're not changing. If I'm a listing agent, if I'm a buyer's agent, usually you get away with it with inexperienced agents or people that don't list a lot of properties. Or if it's in this situation, it's an old time friend that pulls a fast one on you, you know. So, okay, let me get back here to our listing. Okay, so privacy fence, more than likely sprinkler system. I don't know. Do you know if it has sprinklers?
Yes,
It does. Great. And again, you can come over here. We're on exterior features here. They put nothing on your exterior features. So they really kind of did, like, exterior features you see here is completely blank. So when they put this listing in, they did quite a disservice to the property. Does it have gutters? Let me take a look and see if I can see gutters on this thing. No gutters. Okay, so mature trees. Is there any bigger tree on that property? No. Okay, so it's definitely got a fence. I put a privacy fence there because they're all built with those. Let's see here. Okay, so at least have some exterior features. You can add to that if you find some corner lot, cul-de-sac, lakefront. No, none of that.
It's in a cul-de-sac.
It's in a cul-de-sac?
Actually, no,
No?
it's not. I
Okay.
mean, because it's on the corner and that's why it's kind of
Okay.
like at a funny angle.
Okay.
Because
It's backed up to a green belt.
I'm trying to remember, I believe.
Is there a property behind it?
No, there is not.
There's no problem behind it. Okay, good.
It's a street.
It's a less than a quarter acre, right? And the easiest way to pull that information is just to come over here and open search all groups. And so we're gonna get this to see listing, pre-listing. We're gonna get this to like 90%, and then I'll send you with a couple of homework items when
Okay,
you speak with them, so we can complete it and put it all in
okay,
there. Okay. And we can do that this afternoon. Matter of fact, I can lead you through the rest of it just on the phone. So
okay,
you can make it active, but we'll get it like 90% in there for you. So all you have to do is upload the photos and get the last bits of information and hit save. Okay.
okay.
All right. So we can tell the square footage. Okay. So it's on 0.15 of an acre. So it's less than a quarter acre. Okay. So less than a quarter acre. It's not partially wooded, no mature trees. Is a pretty level lot. Typically you can tell it's very level. Okay, so I have that in there. That's another important. A lot of people search by level lot because they're older. They can't climb it up a steep driveway, That's another thing that you want to put in there. So already we've added like quite a bit. It's close to Medina Lake and not close enough to where I would actually mark that. And so I'll hit OK on those. Lot dimensions, lot improvements. A lot of people with this blank, they left it blank. It does have paved, it's got streets, it's got gutters, it's got satellites, it's got street lights. There's no alleys out there. Don't know if there's a fire hydrant close by unless you can see one in a photo. And I don't see one there, so I'm not going to put the fire hydrant. But right off the bat, you're able to add interstate highway 1 mile or less. Highway 16 is there. And so, bam, right off the bat, you're adding like probably close to 40 more categories that they did not have there before. Other structures, boathouse, gazebos, stuff like that. I don't think we have anything out there. There's a workshop in the backyard, a little storage unit or anything.
No.
Nope. Okay. All right. So now we'll move right along here. And we're going to go to interior now. And again, a lot of this we can get from the photos, but I'm gonna get you mostly there. One living area or two.
There's one.
Okay. Is there a dining room?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a combo? Is it an open floor plan, kind of living dining room combo?
Yeah.
Okay. Eating kitchen, I'm sure they all are these days. Is there an island?
No island.
No island, walk-in pantry, I'm sure. Is there a study or office? Remember, a study or office is just a room that doesn't have a closet. That has to be categorized as study or office.
No, they turned their loft when they built the home into another room. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So there's a loft as well.
Oh, no loft. They turned it into a room, like. where
Okay, they built it up.
Yeah.
So it's not open anymore.
No.
Oh, so they built it up there.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. All right. So utility room is inside or in the garage?
Utility room.
Right
like-
inside, most of those are. All bedrooms upstairs, you mentioned, right?
Yes.
First floor level, no steps. Okay. Converted garage, high ceilings, is it's open floor plan, higher ceilings, right? Especially in the living room,
Yes.
it's open, okay. All right, maid's quarters, I'm sure it has pulled down storage, they all do these days, I'm sure they have cable TV and high-speed internet out there, who doesn't? Laundry is on the main level. I'm sure.
It's on the second.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, you don't see that much these days. Okay, laundry room.
Is high ceilings anything considered above like 6 feet or 7, or whatever the standard is?
Well, like high ceiling, like this would be considered a high ceiling because it's a commercial grade like length,
Mhm.
but typically the way you want to categorize that is if you go into the main living room, it's an open floor plan, almost all of them are nowadays. They're gonna be higher there, like you're gonna see like it go all the way up, it's like 20 feet. That would be considered your typical one. If it's just everything's just normal,
Mhm.
you know, I think it's 9 foot is the actual normal
Oh,
ceiling.
okay.
Then you wouldn't categorize it that way.
Yeah, that one should have like normal, yeah.
Okay. very good. All right, so the attic, I don't know if you went up there,
No.
but you could find out if it's floored or built out a little bit up there, if they have an attic fan. Those are all good questions to ask when you're out there. Ceiling fans, I'm sure there's some in the rooms, right? Got a washer and dryer connection, I'm sure else there would be there. Always leave the washer and dryer out, even if they say, hey, we'll let that come in. It's like, let's give ourselves one more negotiating tip here.
Right.
Stove, range, is it a built-in microwave, do you know?
It is, yes.
Built-in microwave, okay. Refrigerator, disposal, okay, leave the refrigerator off, even if they're willing to let it go with the property, just because, you know, at least that's one extra little bargaining chip you could do. If you're, okay, we'll give you the refrigerator, but we're not doing any repairs kind of thing.
Okay.
Do you know if there's a water softener?
There is not.
Okay. Smoke alarms in the house? Okay, most of them are both. Security system, do they do one out there?
Yes, you do.
Okay, great, pre-wired for security. It's an all electric, I'm sure they might have gas up there, I believe. They got garage door opener, I'm sure, on that property. Is it granite countertops?
No,
Okay, so it's Formica.
it's like, I don't know how to
Is it
describe
stone or
like
is
back
it
in the day, like,
Formica countertops?
is that
Yeah,
what it
from
is? It's like plastic film and
Yeah.
then underneath is
Yeah.
like hardwood,
Hardwood,
probably.
engineers wood type thing,
Yeah.
yeah, it's Formica countertops. So solid countertops, this is like marble, granite, stone, slate, then you could put, and granite, a lot of people search that way. Okay. Custom cabinets, probably not. City or is it private service out there? I think it's private service out there for garbage, right? You gotta pay Tiger or something out there, I believe. Okay, interior carpet and tile, more than likely, right?
Yeah. carpet.
Okay, so carpeting, ceramic tile, you know if there's any wood or linoleum?
No,
All right, fireplace on the home?
Nope.
Nope. Window coverings, I always put some remain, because probably the blinds will stay there, but the curtains will go, so some I may use just. Opportunity, so it's 4 bedrooms, 3,
yes, 4 and 2.5 bath.
2.5 bath, okay, so primary room is upstairs. And it has walk-in closets, is there multiple closets in the master bedroom?
Multiple closets, no.
Okay, I'm sure it's got a full bath, okay. All right, so this is one area where hopefully we can get some value out of that previous listing and at least take their measurements. Okay, so We'll go over here. First one is primary bedroom closet size. They added that. They used to not have closet size in there. And of course, we don't have that in here, but we do have an 18 by 15. It's a good size master bedroom.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's 2.5 bathrooms, right?
Mhm.
Okay. We'll take this call briefly. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Oh man, any better? And I'd be dreaming, buddy. You know, had to wake up in the morning, I have to pinch myself just to make sure I'm not still in a dream. How you doing, my friend? Soon. I drop my kids off on Sunday, and so we're putting in a little listing agreement right now. So just trying to get that done, but it will be soon. It will be soon. I'm looking forward to getting back to my normal schedule tomorrow, because that's gonna be nice. I'm sorry, on Monday. So we'll see. But how you doing, man? What's going on with you?
Man, I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm just looking forward to just keeping everything moving forward. I got supposed to have 3 closes next week. I'll get 2 done. Get it there. I'll get 3 done next week. Finish up 4 next week. So yeah.
Nice.
And those one of my tickets next month. Plus I got my September. They're starting to line up. So it's cool.
There you go. I like it, brother. Okay.
Back out and I'm in touch with her.
Yeah, good.
My conversation with Leisha was not very invigorating.
What did she say?
Like, I hate to make comments. I feel like she's okay lives. Oh, I stopped her multiple times and I've never got any contact from her. That's funny because I called her 4 times and I've talked to her 3 times, and the one time I missed her, she called me back. So I was like, I mean, and you get, I don't know, it's just call shenanigans. Jason called her once and she picked up too.
Really?
It's just like, if you don't want to work, that's fine. Just say, hey, I was waiting for you to make contact first, set it up, and then I go, cool, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
That's why I got Jason involved. Like, sorry, I have to run this thing.
Yeah, well, we just move it over to him, then he has administrative access, so we can just move the lead over.
Yeah, no, and of course, I just, it's like, I'm just trying to get a phone.
Do it, my friend, do it. Good call there. Good call on getting that switched over to J Bones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was killing it, baby.
Yeah.
This morning, I'm tired again, sleeping, and I haven't seen him yet today. Show a little bit.
He was on a little call earlier with a little family call, so he's doing good.
Okay, cool.
So, well, good deal, man. Well, let me know what happens with Felicia. Yeah, tell Jason to run with it. And Elisha's lost her opportunity there. It sounds like she's not really that interested in working it anyway. So
I mean, it's just that was just my thought process. What are your thoughts? Something like that.
I'm 100% with you on that. I've asked her about her 3 times, and each time, I've called and reached out, no response. And I thought that was odd because I've spoken to her several times and I've reached her every time. She's good about answering her phone.
Exactly. Yeah, that I was 3 for 4 with her phone calls. The other time, 3 phone calls. So it's not like she was dodging anyone at all.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like weird statements in there. I would have put like, right, that I haven't talked to her yet.
Yeah. Bizarre. She's real young too, though, so maybe that's part of it.
I don't know. I was close to that age. I was this business at that time. I was calling this century leads making about 150,000 a day.
I love it. That's why you're the man, dude. That's why you're the man, dude.
I'm in shock, of your essence.
I appreciate that.
Like Carl over.
Telling you, man, the best of the best. Thank you, my friend. Hey, you know what? It took some time, but with the right amount of training and never giving up, then what happens is eventually you end up, taking over and being the best at it. So that's been my story. And Marcus never, man, never. Well, actually, when I was over there, when I visited Jason last week, when we were on our way out to Legoland, I asked Jason, I was like, you get a hold of him? And he's like, no, I haven't. And so I called him and he picked up first ring. Oh man, I've been busy. I've had a bunch of drama and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, and then he was like, let me call you right back. I'm calling you right back. And he didn't call me right back, but he was like, hey, I'm still interested, so I'll give him a call here in a few minutes here and see if we can get in touch with him, man. That's odd for me.
Can't figure out what give them truthful comments, how that would be defensive, but I guess again,
Who knows, man? He may not be the right, person for us. I mean, I felt like, we had good rapport, and I think he does like me. He's answers my calls, but I mean, come on, at some point you gotta move, So I haven't seen that yet, but I'll try him again. Let me try him again today. Okay, my friend. I'm golden, man. I'm golden right now. But Monday, let's kind of circle back and let's just kind of jump in these calls together and get back to my call times. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Okay, my friend. I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Take care. Okay, so I don't know if you guys heard, but I was kind of skipping through that. I was just taking the dimensions of the room and pulling them in there. I'm also pulling this Falcon Landing CA. So this looks like mandatory transfer fee 452 and a 250 annual fee. So Falcon Landing. Community Association, HOA fee 250 annually, which is really good actually, and you get a pool at that as well. That is not bad. The transfer fee is a little high though. Transfer fee is 452 is what this one says. 452 is correct, so let's put 452 in there. 452. Do they have a website? I'd be impressed if they did. I do not see one there. You can do a little more research there if you'd like. That is one thing the previous person did well. It looks like they had a fairly filled out HOA portion. Okay, so contract. We have an exclusive right to sell. Listing date will be today, hopefully. We can always modify this if we need to push it till, but it'd be nice to get it up for the weekend. Expiration date, we're going to go to 2024 and list it till the end of August. I hope it doesn't take that long to sell. Probably shouldn't. But back in 2009, average days on market were 12 months.
Yeah.
On average, if you want to sell your home back in 2009, it took a year. Well, that's when prices really started to drop. Because people were like, no, I got to move. I'm not having this place sit empty for a year. Price it to sell. If they had the equity, a lot of people say, I don't have the equity, let's rent it out or let's short sell it or stuff like that. So conventional FHA, VA, we also, Texas vet's a great option. Cash, of course, we'll take cash. USDA financing is also available out there. So that is something that they did not have indicated on these. Did have it on this one, but they missed out on, oh, you had it on that one too. So hey, cut them out. Wasn't too fair. They did do that correctly. Okay, closing and funding is when we transfer ownership of the show to 2227. Showing contact is showing time. Lockbox, you got a combo or super out there?
It's I need to change it. It's still his, but while I'm out there today, I can change it to my lockbox.
You bought a super yesterday?
No, I didn't buy a super. I have a
Combo?
lockbox. Yeah, combo.
Okay, so we'll put a combo on there. Occupancy, the owner is still occupying the property, correct? Okay, it is not being leased. The owner is Mr. Christopher D. Hart or Dayhart. Why does he say that? 0% agent commission, 3% buyer commission, bonus, not yet. He's not a realtor, I'm assuming. Preferred title company. Do you have a preferred title company? This is a great opportunity, by the way. I'd love to introduce you to some.
Okay,
Several are supporting our charity efforts and are being very good to us.
okay,
And so I'd love to get some of them around you because they'll be very good to you too. They'll come out and they'll bring food at your open houses. They'll bring, all sorts of stuff. They'll support you. They'll help you with their tools and resources if you want to do some farming or things like that.
yeah, definitely, we can use whomever you want.
Okay.
All I know is here.
I'm gonna recommend Stuart.
Chicago, Chicago title is often working on too, I don't know if you've ever been. Yeah, so
Stuart
I
Title.
don't want to do overflow,
Oh.
go and close and then I see it.
The only reason why he uses them is because they go along with all his sketches.
Melissa Waller is the title representative for the local Stewart Title here. Or you
Okay,
can close the Stewart Title out there, you can close it any of them if you want.
okay,
And she is a business development rep. I'm gonna teach you guys how to leverage these relationships. She can do so much for you. And so I'm gonna put, excuse me, her closer's information here. His name's Mike. And of course, this is one of the great opportunities for you to really kind of become more of a reputable professional. It's like, hey, my title company is somebody that puts in work for us, and so I've got about 3 or 4 capital titles really good too. We've been given a lot of business in lately, so I'll put Stewart Title for now, and then we can complete that information with the details once she sends it. And okay, so this is the part where you can start using your creative hat, or you can use Chat GPT if you want to do that. We're gonna do it the old fashioned way.
Okay.
I'm gonna teach you guys the way I do it, but if you want to use some of the new technology here, under agent remarks, say please send all offers with proof of funds to, what's your email, Carly? Real
Real
estate,
estate, CA
CA
Gold Grounds.
goldgrounds.com. Okay, keep that simple there. So please send all offers with proof of funds to real estate. Back in the old days, we just put our fax number in there. Who uses fax anymore? Okay, public remarks. Okay, so this is where you can use a little bit of your creativity. I'll give you the strategy that I use. I like to say, kind of use a little more descriptive language. My sister's way better at it. Talk about the perfect starter home. Perfect starter home. Starter home for any awesome schools. Schools in the Valley. Great floor plan. Floor plan. And I think we can still do a little better than the AI bots these days. Great floor plan. Level lot with modern upgrades. Upgrades. Just a few. Okay, with a close proximity to. With a close proximity to Medina Lake. Texas Hill Country. Alamo Ranch, which everybody wants to be close to shopping. Let's see, what's else close to out there? HEB. What I normally put is shopping, dining, and much more. Shopping, dining, and much. And because this is going to take advantage of 0 down. One thing too, this is kind of a super ninja move, if your client is willing to let somebody assume
The
their
loan.
note,
Mhm,
they probably have like a 3% interest rate.
mhm.
They'll get to 330, definitely. Okay, because loan assumptions right now are huge. Now, you'll want to have a talk with them about that. What is that exactly? We can speak to that together with them.
Mhm.
But they can only assume the amount that they currently owe. So they'll have to get a secondary loan at the higher interest rate. But if I can assume a note at 200K and I'm only paying 2.5 or 3% interest on, and now I only have to get another loan for 130 where I pay the higher interest, that would be a situation where they may be able to get more money for it. Okay,
Mhm.
subject to properties are a lot more. Most agents don't know how to do it. Most agents
Yeah.
never even heard about it.
Yeah, an agent called me about it, asking if they would be willing to do subject to.
Okay, what'd you tell them?
The clients who are interested, they're more interested on just selling the property and getting the cash for it.
Okay, okay. It does sound complicated, but it doesn't really require that they do anything.
Mhm.
The buyer has the work responsibility. All they have to do is sign off on a document and they'll have to qualify. So like they'll have to qualify, they'll have to do all that. All they have to do is do one signature.
Mhm.
And so it's a waiting for where they can get more cash for the property. So it's something to consider.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in here, take advantage of zero down financing with the USDA loan program. And enjoy no city taxes. Okay, so this is about what I would put in my public remarks, a little bit about the upgrades, level lot, great schools, perfect starter home for any family, close proximity to Medina Lake, Texas Hill Country, Alamo Ranch, shopping, dining, and much more. Take advantage of zero financing with the USDA loan program and enjoy no city taxes.
So does this show on the MLS and on Zillow and Realtor and all that stuff?
Public remarks show it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. Okay, you could put some language in here about the sub two, if you got permission from your clients to do it. And I'd be happy to have a conversation with them like that,
Mhm.
but that is something that we could put here.
Mhm.
Okay, so we are now complete. The only thing we have to do is upload those photos. Okay, so you come in here, click manage photos, and then upload them from wherever you have them.
Mhm,
Okay, so that's a little time consuming. You want to upload those and kind of put them in order.
mhm.
The way I like to put them in order is like I'm walking through the home. Beautiful pictures of the front of the house, maybe the side of the house or the driveway. I'm walking through the door, the entry room, the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. You want to focus on those. Secondary bedrooms don't get a whole lot of attention, but you want to put at least one photo of every bedroom. And focus most of your time on the living areas, the bathrooms, and the kitchens. Kitchens mostly, living areas mostly, bathrooms are a high priority as well. And then great pictures of the back at the end. Pictures of the patio, pictures of the backyard, the green belt, and everything you have in the back. Okay.
Gotcha.
You want to put in at least 25, 24, 25 photos. The more the better. So if you do 30 or 40 or even 50, that's great. Okay, so you hit select images, you download those or upload those, and then you hit save changes and it will complete that. We didn't make any changes here, so there's nothing to stop there. And then so we're all complete. One thing you could put in there is if they have a survey, you can upload that survey, the seller's disclosure. Once they complete seller's disclosure, you put that in the documents. You could put, like the home builder warranty. You could put documents in here if there are any. And so we are pretty much done. This listing is about 90% complete. It's saved as a draft in your drafts. Okay, so all you have to do is come to your drafts, click that little pencil there, and you can add those photos, which is the final step,
Mhm.
and then add any kind of changes or adjustments you want to make after speaking to you. And that is it. You're done.
Wow.
Thank you, Carl.
Yes.
All right, guys. Let's see. It took us almost an hour and 40 minutes. I know I want to get it done in 1 hour, but I am going to stop the recording. Bye, everybody.